All right, I'll have you go ahead and state your name and what you do.
Hello, my name is Luk Henderiks. I play guitar and sing in Teenage Halloween from Asbury Park, New Jersey.
My name is Jerome Bradford. I am an employee of MavRadio. Okay, thank you for your time, Luke. Want to start there. First of all, I want to ask, I am a big fan of clever names. So where did the name Teenage Halloween come from?
Sadly, it's not as clever as it sounds. I got it from the song Twinkle by Jeff Rosenstock, a huge influence of mine. He just talks about Teenage Halloween as like a joyous, like sentimental feeling, and like the minute he said those two words together, it felt like the thing that Jeff was trying to convey with that. Like it felt like a sentimental, joyous thing. And I started the band when I was 16, so it was like it was a very formative time in my life where like a name like that felt like joy and happiness. But like it's also like Halloween is like a holiday about like scaring people and like the weird like negative connotations. So it's like it's a very interesting way to find joy. So I thought that was the like a perfect two words that would like conglomerate like what this band is about, like finding joy in negative situations.
Great. That's really awesome. Like I said, I dig the name. Now, I know you guys started out as a collective, and it was 13 people, I believe, when you started out, and you guys have played shows as many with 8 people on stage to 2. Is it hard mixing all those schedules and touring, and just how do you make all that connect?
When we were more of a collective, it was all over the place. It was just based on like calling people to see who was around. It was always like within my friend group. It was always like we always would play together, and it would like if it made sense, we would play shows. Nowadays, we're like a much more organized 4-piece band that has not changed, and it's going to be the official lineup for all shows. But at the time when we were a collective, we would just like pretty much decide things on the fly. Like there was like days where like 4 extra people would be on stage with us, like when we would have a show, and we would just have like absolutely like we would have no plan. We would just go there and we would be like, this is Teenage Halloween tonight. Yeah, and we would try to like make it as fun as possible. Like the collective idea was just based on the fact that I loved like friends playing music together, and like the concept of like how like jamming can create these like wonderful moments between other people, and the spontaneousness of it always was like appealing to me. And now that I'm older and a lot more jaded, I'm much more into playing with like less people that I trust more.
Nice. Yeah. And I know one of the things that drew me to your bands was you guys are very open about mental health. Has that always been a priority with your songwriting? I know that, this is kind of 2 questions in one, but some of your influences are like Promise Ring, Jawbreaker, Bruce Springsteen, and those artists did talk a lot about mental health. So was that something that from the start you did, or did you just grow over COVID? What was the reaction for that, being so open and honest?
People were very good about the fact that we have always been very open about mental health and like honest about it. It's been something that we found our group of people that support our band through that like shared emotion of like things being very hard and especially within isolation. And it's always been a prominent topic in our band's music. I started the band when I was 16. I was bullied in high school. I had a lot going on where I was like just very I was in like a very dark place, and like my friends and I had like very shared feelings about those things, and it just always evolved into a project that was based around mental health, because that the project has always been rooted in like catharsis, and how like you like if you're expressing yourself to your most like fierce in your most fierce way, like you're able to like find catharsis in the things that might not be perfect about yourself that you're trying to move past, like the like just genuine mental health stuff. Like it's very hard to like find solidarity in that without being open. So I've had to learn over time that as long as I'm sharing what I need, other people that need the same thing can be together and talk about it.
And that's very awesome, too. Growing up in my neighborhood, I was like the only kid that listened to punk and hip-hop. And I always say that was before internet time, so you had to pick one. So it created some very outcast moment for me, like, and just, things with neighborhood kids, like, why is this guy wearing a Pixies shirt in, like, the inner city? So it's like, here we go again. One thing I noticed about your band, too, with your lyrics and your videos, you have this great sense of humor. I was watching the video Drown, and at the end, you guys space out, and it's only like a mannequin watching. I was like, these guys are just very funny. So is there comedy inspirations that you draw from, or just where does that sense of humor come from?
I mean, we've all gone through a lot of shit. So a very big thing about like us is that we like to go on tour and like play very serious music, but like create, like invoke joy by like just trying to make jokes, trying to like keep spirits high in like tough climates. And that has always been like a very because I'm always trying to convince myself that everything's okay when it isn't. So I think a big thing about our band is that we like to not like be toxically positive, but try and create like this level of like, we're all going through this shit, so let's try and just be glad to be around each other. Like the fact that like, I don't know, I don't think comedy is an influence, but I think that we like to mess with the crowd because it's like like-minded people. So we try to like just have like just try to have like fun and hang out with people like while we're playing. Like it's not, we try not to be like overly serious. We try to break the performer and audience member boundary of like how like we don't want it to feel like fully like you're watching a show, more like you're part of a show. Right. So it's always something that happens, and I wouldn't say it's an influence because some nights we're in moods where we're just gonna play the songs, but other nights we like to add humor to it just because that, I don't know, it's going on tour, you gotta make things different sometimes. Right.
I just got a couple more questions for you. Just 3 more questions. So I was reading an article where you described your music as angry gay power pop, which I love. I'm a big Star fan. Love all that power pop stuff. Yeah. There are so many different voices within music and the community, and it's very political right now. So make room for the motorcycles. Yeah. And so, do you ever worry about like the scene coming together or different groups coming together in these midterm elections or elections, because there's so many distinctive voices that, it's hard?
I like to I like to hope that everyone that's like into our music and supporting our music is like on a similar political wavelength of keeping everybody safe and making sure that the human race is like cared for by other humans, like just like an equal care for each other, like a like communal work, like doing like, I don't know, like doing like a level of checking yourself, destroying the cop in your head to create a better society.
Nice. Now, do you have any current new bands that you want to let the listeners know about that you would recommend?
I would definitely recommend our friends in Squat from New Jersey, our friends in Skylar Pocket from New Jersey, and our friends Guppy from Los Angeles.
Nice. Do you have anything you like to do on your downtime that's like just re-energizes you or help mental health, like hobbies or anything?
For me, a lot of the time I actually make noise music on the side. I have like a lot of like keyboards and synths that I put on a table, and I record a lot of different stuff, a lot of soundscapes and stuff using like tape and like synths and just different sound sources. And that's like kind of what I do on my downtime. Like I really like to record a lot of music that's like just like sound collaging. But then I also love taking walks. I love cooking, and that's like another thing. Like I make hot sauce, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And I love cooking different dishes by like looking things up online. That's kind of like my meditative like side thing, if I'm not like on my ass watching television. So I don't know. I love music. I love making sounds. I love cooking, and I love going outside. So.
I've tried the cooking thing. I'm okay. I've screwed up lasagna twice, believe it or not.
A lot of things.
I'm done. Wasted 120. Just one last question for you. So if you... No, right. We don't want this to be your last interview.
Yeah, the final one.
Right. So if you were to throw any album in a time capsule, and I'll give you two because no one can seem to pick one, what would that album be, or those two albums be, that if some future civilization will find, what two albums would you throw in those time capsules?
It changes a lot, but I would say right now I've been really into Mountain Rock by Dear Nora and London Calling by The Clash.
Nice. Those are awesome. I haven't heard the Dear Nora, but I'm familiar with Clash, but I'll listen to the Dear Nora.
Those are two on my rotation right now that I feel like are influencing my current songwriting. Mm-hmm. But it changes a lot for me. I have a very fluctuating music taste and catalog. I always forget things that I'm in love with. Like it's just always every couple months I'm just always listening to new stuff. So
well, that's a true music fan. I'm the same way. Well, thank you for your time, Luke.
Of course. Mm-hmm.